Are you ready?
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivers this deep six.
This is episode 164, and I'm convinced we have the best intro in the podcast building right now. But anyway, I am joined today by the returning Shiv, aka the Hindu priest. If I'm reading that right.
Yes, sir. How are you, man?
Shiv, how you doing?
Good, brother. Good. Just excited to get back to it, man. AEW's on fire. Actually, wrestling's on fire, so I'm excited to jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Cool. I'm just making sure I'm not hitting the right. All right, cool. Let's go. We have a brand new World Heavyweight Champion, AEW, Kenny Omega, the cleaner,
That's
up
right.
last night, winning the AEW Championship. And let me tell you, I thought we were getting into another scenario here. And we're going to talk more about the road to the redemption and All In, arguably AEW's biggest pay-per-view of the year. But we had a WWE World Title change on Monday night, and I have a feeling that this possibly, I'm not saying for sure, but this possibly could have been the answer back to what happened on Monday with Kenny Omega winning the World Heavyweight Championship on Wednesday. You do one, we'll do one better. And you know what? That's what I like about rival companies and stuff. That's just a possibility. I don't know that for sure. We don't know if the long-term plan is going to be Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, but it is very possible because Kenny Omega being one of the biggest AEW stars and one of the biggest wrestling stars in the world, going against countryman, fellow Englander, Will Ospreay. As of now, that match is set for All In London, Will Ospreay's home territory. But maybe along the way, because we still have plenty of time till All In.
Right.
Depending on how the dominoes fall in the next coming days, whether it be Collision or next week's Dynamite, maybe MJF wants a rematch, maybe at Redemption, because that's one of the biggest shows in between now and All In, where MJF could win the title back, and then we get the match after all of what we originally thought we were going to be getting, Ospreay versus MJF at All In. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if it's punch, counter punch, I'm here for it because I just, like you said, I just love a good rivalry. I think we as wrestling fans win that way. I mean, to your point, they kind of wove in Omega in this storyline with Ospreay and Ospreay with Moxley with the Death Riders, right? And you kind of had Ospreay sort of doubt Omega. I think he had mentioned a while back that he felt as though Kenny had given up on his dream. And so now to see Kenny, I mean, okay, MJF puts the stipulation if Kenny loses, he can never challenge again, a la Cody, a la Hangman. And now I was selfishly hoping Hangman would come out and for the save, but Ospreay coming out is interesting too, because now was it the plan Kenny Ospreay all along, but you have Redemption on the horizon. In the name Redemption, does MJF get his title back? Do we have like a triple threat situation at All In? I don't know, but because I don't know, I want to keep watching. And that's a good sign for a wrestling company. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I thought we were going to get another scenario here where, oh no, Kenny loses, he can never challenge for the AEW title just like Cody Rhodes did.
Right.
And I think that kind of shot Cody Rhodes in the foot a little bit too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As far as elevating more than he already was, although he did have a corporate position in AEW.
I mean, I was excited. I was impressed also with the crowd and the setup. Though the whole setup for Dynamite last night was awesome. It had a pay-per-view esque sort of feel to it from the opening. I was just like, oh wow, this is a big deal. You know, how did you like it?
You know, I actually wanted to talk about this, and I forgot to put this in my list of to do. As far as to talk about, I feel like AEW has been doing a very good job with being creative
Right,
with how they book their arenas, and honestly, I would like to see WWE get a little bit more on the creative side. We saw this from WCW back in the day where they had a
right.
ring set up in the middle of the pool. They used to have Bash at the Beach, and then they actually have the ring on the beach. So I kind of like how AEW had this set up, and if I'm not mistaken, AEW also had a dynamite or a collision in the middle of a golf course,
Right.
an indoor golf course that is. And then last night they had it in the beach where, in Tampa they get a lot of rain, so you have to have covering and stuff. But you can see like the daylight from the outside and gradually getting dark. So like the little stuff, I do like the creativity. I would like to see WWE do more of that, but I'm glad we get to see at least somebody do it. I love their setup. I love the ramp going straight to the ring apron. I love seeing stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
All in all, a very pretty good show that we got. I mean, if I have to grade the whole show out of 10, I'd probably give it about a 7 or so.
Mm,
But there were definitely some moments in the event that definitely surpassed a 7 for sure. But yeah, so we have a new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Let's talk about how it happened really quick. So basically, the breakdown of this match is if Omega loses, he cannot challenge for the AEW Championship
right.
anymore. There were a couple cool spots that I liked in this match. MJF going through the table.
That was
We also
sick.
saw the reverse Hurricane Rana off the
Oh
top rope.
my god, that looked awesome. He spiked him on his head, dude.
Yes, and right after that, the next move, I think MJF did like a DDT of his own from the middle rope onto
Yeah,
Kenny
that's
Omega.
his heat seeker. Yeah, it was insane, man.
The referee gets distracted because MJF has the diamond ring, but Ospreay is coming to the save, takes the diamond ring away from MJF when the referee was distracted. Then that whole thing was going on. The ref was distracted by Osprey, showing the ring, trying to tell the ref that MJF is cheating. And then Kenny Omega gets the belt because at this point MJF had brought the belt into the
He's
ring.
got the title, and then moment of
Yes,
like the good guy.
Kenny Omega was conflicted, right?
Yeah,
And he doesn't hit MJF though. But MJF, we see him go for the low blow. Then he hits Kenny Omega with the title belt after all, while the ref is distracted. And then Kenny basically no sells at all. He
bro.
gets out on one.
One.
MJF is shocked. Osprey is still looking on. He's shocked.
He's shocked.
Kenny hits the 3 V triggers and the one-winged angel for the win. The crowd went wild for
They
this.
went nuts.
What did you think of the match overall?
Man, there were times where I was kind of like, this is probably, I would say, and I'm obviously a big Kenny Omega fan. I wouldn't say this was of the 3 matches, this would probably say like work-wise, but given what they had, the temperature and everything too, I think they said it was really hot at the in the ring as well too, based on the beach. But the match overall, MJF going through that table, that looks sick, dude. Like, I mean, he just was like perfectly went right through that thing. And that reverse Hurricane Rana he did to Omega off the top rope was insane. I thought the Osprey angle adds to it because again, I feel like their stories are all intertwined. Those 3 V triggers by Omega, I mean, he makes that move look so impactful. And then the one-winged angel, MJF was not kicking out of this one. 1, 2, 3, and then I love that they pan to the crowd to see the reaction, to see Omega's reaction. I think that's kind of cool. I'm curious to see where they go again from here because, I mean, yeah, I don't think they would have booked him like they did Cody to where he couldn't challenge again, because then where do they go? But at the same time, too, like, oh wow, he's champion again now, and he did it on his own in terms of like last time there was Callus and the bad guys in the run. Now he's doing it as a good guy, if you will. So it's good stuff. The match itself, I mean, MJF, I do think he's injured a little bit. I do think that leg is bothering him. It's heavily taped, that thigh. I know he had said afterwards that it's pretty shot, but who knows if they're working me, brother? You know what I mean? So we'll see.
They probably are. I mean, if you don't hear anything legit from like a reliable
Right.
website like Fightful or something like that, it's more than likely a work. But you brought up something very interesting a couple minutes ago, and I want to touch on that really quick. Hangman Page.
Yeah.
Is he not allowed to challenge for the AEW Championship ever, or while MJF is champion?
No, ever again. And that's why.
I mean, I guess there's going to be some kind of like storyline to get him back into things, because
I'm
you can't not
curious.
have him ever to like never ever challenge again. He's 30 years old. He's one of your big players along
Right.
with Strickland and stuff like that. And it's a good way to kind of move him aside a little bit to freshen
Sure.
up the main event scene. I think in the long run, and possibly not anytime soon, I would say give it a minimum of a year from when this happened. That maybe they'll work a storyline for Hangman to get
Yeah,
back into the title scene.
I think so too. I think
He's
this might
basically
all
one of their
be-
pillars.
Right. I do believe this might be like this, not necessarily the start, but part of MJF's face turn at some point that will happen, and his face run. Like if he I don't know, somehow.
Really, you think he might get a face run?
Oh, dude, I think so because they do like him. Like when his music hits, they want to cheer him because of how bad he is, and then stuff like that. But Hangman is interesting because ever since he lost to MJF, he hasn't been seen at all. And I'm curious if I was hoping that if I was playing Booker, I was hoping that he would come make the save and then set up perhaps maybe MJF Hangman, and the stipulation is if Hangman wins, he can challenge again at some point at All In. And then you clear the way for Omega and Ospreay. But then does Ospreay win now in his home of England? I don't know, but why would they have him go through all that?
I think so. We'll get more into that later, but I think this is the summer of Ospreay, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But moving on, we have a new number one contender. We had a casino gauntlet match, if I said that right, for the number one contendership for Tekla's AEW World Women's Championship. And the participants was Maya World, who looked very good last night.
Yeah.
Versus Athena, Sky Blue, Rena from Stardom versus Julia Hart, Thunder Rosa, and Willow Nightingale. This was a pretty good match. I mean, the AEW Women's Division is in pretty safe hands from what I've been noticing as of late. And I've seen some names being elevated, especially like Willow Nightingale, who was ended up being the winner of this match. But she came out to a huge pop. Julia Hart came in very hot with the trash lid, even taking out security with the chair, and then Sky Blue was taking out security along with her partner Julia Hart with the kendo stick. And they even took out Justin Roberts at one point. That was Roberts. I remember the last time Justin Roberts was taken out, and I don't know if you remember back in
Daniel
2010
Bryan.
with the Nexus.
Yep.
Ooh-wee, that was one of the biggest warnings.
I think about it.
Yeah. Willow wins the match with the pinfall on Julia and with the sit down power bomb, but then chaos ensues from there. Tekla took out Willow. Then Mercedes came in and took out both Mercedes and Willow because Mercedes was sitting on the beach chair, the high beach chair, I guess you can call it, the lifeguard's chair,
Right.
that was sitting on top of the ring entrance next to in front of the screen there, and she was watching on the whole entire match. So she finally decides to come in after the match is over, and show her dominance by taking out everybody. So that's how that ended. Willow Nightingale looked very good here. Apparently, we're going to get Willow Nightingale versus Tekla at
Redemption.
And I'm not gonna. I obviously, because we're a PG podcast, I can't repeat everything word for word that Tekla was saying, but she was dropping crazy innuendos too.
She's wild. She's
at
wild.
the same time, yeah, I picked up on that. But at the same time, like, she's a really good talker. I love her character too as well. How do you feel about Tekla's title run so far?
When she came in, kind of like, to me, I'd be lying if I said I knew much about Stardom promotion or any of her work prior to it. Now, of course, just like anybody debuting, they kind of give you a little bit of a package and a little backstory on her, so you kind of have an idea. Watching her work in ring, and then when she won the championship, this run so far, she's been putting on great matches. But in addition to that, she brings this intensity and this uniqueness to her that I haven't really quite seen yet. And the fact that she is a bit of a loose cannon. I mean, she calls herself the Toxic Spider, and I believe every word of it because she was hilarious on commentary. I mean, you could tell that the other commentators were trying not to laugh or feed into it more, but she calls them all crazy B words, and she's crazy about it, and she's got like all that fight to her. However, I do think Willow is gonna go on a run here now because, I mean, she had to relinquish her TBS title due to injury. They just crowned that TBS champion not too long ago, and she returns for this. I think this was the elevation, maybe building to that. They have a lot of history, her and Mercedes. So now we're building towards potentially that again. And Mercedes can't beat Willow in a bet. So who knows?
Yeah, so you had Mercedes looking on. I mean, if
that
you're
was
going
cool
with the
too.
classic face versus heel, I mean, it's very possible we could see Willow and Mercedes at All In.
You bringing up the Mercedes looking on from that chair, that had to have been one of the coolest spots in terms of being able to see the ring and everything. Like, I kind of wonder, like, I didn't catch how she got down. I think that would have been funny because, like, she's not a big person, but she was.
There must
really
have been like a little ladder on the side or something.
Got it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, funny shit to like just slide down like a fireman.
Yeah. Really quick before we get on to our next topic, we see Jack Perry back with AEW. He resigns with AEW, so I would like to see Jack Perry go on a little run at some point. He's still very young.
Yeah,
he's got plenty of time. You don't have to rush it, but you got guys like Sammy Guevara, Jack Perry. You got MJF, and who was the other original
Darby?
Darby Allin. So Darby Allin got his shine for a few weeks. So I would like these guys to, be. I'd like to see Jack Perry be a little bit more, and Sammy Guevara get back into being more of a focal point of the show because they are the original pillars. But the good thing that AEW has been doing that WWE is not, and Sean Ross Sapp and John Alba brought it up on Fightful the other day, is that they are constantly rotating people in and out of the main event scene. They're kind of keeping it fresh. Wins and losses matter, but they've been keeping it fresh. Like, if you look at the main events of WrestleMania and SummerSlam, the past 3-4 years, it's basically been the same type of main event. WrestleMania 39, you had Cody Roman. 40, you had Cody Roman. 41, you had Cody Cena. And then I think I forgot what Roman was doing in 41. I'm
Roman,
drawing a blank.
Seth, and Punk, right?
Roman Seth. Yep, there we go. Roman Seth and Punk. 42, Roman Punk. Cody and
Who did Cody fight
gosh,
against?
I'm not in like WWE mode right now. But you catch my drift, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the main events are like similar. Oh, Cody versus Randy Orton.
It was Randy, that's
So,
right.
yeah, so you can see like the main event scene is not really changing too much. And that's got to change pretty quickly because you have a lot of the main eventers. LA Knight's 40, 41, maybe 42, but get him in while he's still hot. It would still be
Right.
fresh and what have you. But other than that, WWE's got to get these guys moving. Braun, Oba, let's get these guys moved up. AEW is doing a very good job with keeping things very fresh
Well,
with the main event scene.
I think you make a great point there. I do think AEW does a good job of making it seem now. I mean, in my opinion, because I was lucky enough to be in Seattle when Darby won it on Dynamite, right? Now I have to tune in because no longer. I mean, granted, it's Kenny Omega, so it's not like it's like El Dandy winning the title on Monday Night Raw or something like that, right? So like, I get it's a big deal, but I mean, at some point, I think Andrade gets elevated. I don't know where and how, but to your point, like there just does seem to be a freshness of stars. I mean, I know we got to get into Kyle Fletcher and his ascension, in my opinion, too. But a guy like Takeshita, Okada, any of these guys could carry the title, and you would not say, "Oh wow, they put the belt on him." You know what I mean? Based on how these guys have looked and been booked.
Yeah. If there is any brand that should be doing a brand split right now, I would say maybe AEW because their roster is so freaking huge.
Right.
And there's so many guys on there that could be champion. But anyway, I'm not for the whole brand split thing, but I would say AEW get some of these guys moving down to Ring of Honor and make Ring of Honor bigger than what it is instead of
I agree.
whatever NXT is to WWE.
Right.
Make Ring of Honor legit, put some big names there, get more eyes on your AEW product. Moving on, in an interview with Speedball, he addresses Mark Callis and says he is going to take something from him, and that is going to be the national championship. He's going to take that away from Mark Andrews, I think it was.
Mark Davis.
And that's this Saturday on Collision. So that's just a quick side note there. Those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much. My name is Wayne. I am joined by Shiv tonight, covering this week's AEW Dynamite. Really quick, Jericho versus Tomaso Ciampa. I thought this was a very fun opening, pretty creative, if I would say. And Ciampa's poised himself for a sneak attack on Jericho at the top entrance, but Jericho is onto it. So while Ciampa is waiting by the entrance for Jericho to come out so Ciampa can attack him, when Jericho's music hits, he doesn't come out from normal. He comes from ringside area, sneaking behind Ciampa and one-upping him. So I thought this was pretty cool. Beach chairs were destroyed. But as the match progresses, at this point, Jericho's beating the piss out of Ciampa. Ciampa's in the walls of Jericho towards the end of the match. He reaches for the bucket, but the referee takes the bucket away, and then Ciampa reaches for the sand that's already in the ring behind the referee's back, throwing it in Jericho's eyes, followed by the running knee to the face for the win. Ciampa nails Jericho with the chair afterwards. What did you think of this match? I thought it was a cool little opener.
Oh no, I agree. Good opener. I love the fact that the wily veteran Chris Jericho was on to Ciampa's antics, and so one thing that was cool too is that they kept the music playing, so the crowd kept singing along as it was happening. I enjoy that because it's like an added, like, attraction, if you will, to what's going on. There was one spot where Ciampa dropped Jericho on the ringside steps on the stairs. That looked sick. I thought, it was basically Jericho's face meeting the flat of the steel stairs, and then the dust, the old sand in the eye. It's the old heel tactics, and then he hits him with the running knee, and gets the 1, 2, 3. It makes sense, honestly. I mean, because at this point, Chris Jericho, what are we doing, right? Entertain the people, put on some good matches, but really elevate this heel and Tomaso Ciampa. There was a really funny section of the match too, where Ciampa acknowledges another bald guy in the crowd. I loved it. I absolutely loved it because Jericho has been busting his chops about him being bald and all the things. Good stuff. Fun opening match. I think it really set the tone for a good Dynamite. Really. Ciampa is such a good bad guy, though. You know what I mean? He just has the look.
He is, and I'm glad he grew his beard back, by the way.
Agreed. His talents.
I didn't like when he cut his beard back on WWE, which was about maybe 9 months ago or so.
Yeah.
Was not a fan of that. But anyway, I digress. So you brought it up a minute ago. Speaking of elevating of AEW stars, we have a new AEW International Champion.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this was the night of title changes, and like I said, I feel like this whole show could have been an answer back to what WWE had did on their wild night of Monday Night Raw in Chicago. But we can't forget what happened at Double or Nothing when Kyle turned at Takashita. So I believe this is the first match that they're having together. So we get Takashita versus Kyle Fletcher. Really good match here. Takashita has been the champion for, I would say, about a month now. And but yeah, Kyle Fletcher wins with the brainbuster onto the top turnbuckle, which was a very sick visual. Really pretty good creative ending there that we got to beat Takashita. Fletcher wins for the international, wins the international title. Is that his first time winning that particular belt?
Yes, his first time winning that particular title. Correct.
So here's the thing. This is one little issue that I got with AEW. I feel like the Continental title, the international title are very, very confusing to me. In a way. I really what's and then you got the TBS championship too. Like what I don't understand why we have 3 different mid-card titles, 2 of them being kind of like similar. Like what's the difference between Continental and International?
Right, right.
But
semantics.
So yeah, and there is a lot of titles floating around the wrestling scene these days. It's crazy. AEW, do they still even have a trios title?
Yeah, the trios champs are Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong.
Yeah,
the conglomeration.
So, anyway, but you see my point. A lot of titles. You got the tag titles, you got the trios. A lot of titles.
It is Fletcher's first time winning the AEW International Championship, which is definitely his. They put the TNT title on him a couple times. He had a good run there. You can see that as he's young and he's building, because when he came into AEW, he and Mark Davis were Aussie Open. They were that tag team, and they did really good work, right? Like they were a really good tag team. But this kid kept growing.
At that time, I didn't see that. I didn't see Kyle Fletcher as like where he is.
No,
now, sure.
I 100% agree. And truthfully, I thought Mark Davis was just gonna kind of get Marty Jannetty'd almost in a sense. but he's been putting on some great matches. He's got the national championship now, which you got the national championship. You know what I mean? Okay. But I will say, Kyle, because now you have, okay, so Takeshita takes it from Okada. Okada and Takeshita have this hatred. Fletcher's in the middle because you have Proto-Kata and Proto-Keshta or whatever. And now he turns on Takeshita after Takeshita beats Okada. And now he beats Takeshita, wins his championship. But Okada's going to want his title back at some point. And so I'm curious as to like where and how they go. I'm definitely, I mean, I don't think Takeshita and Fletcher are done by any stretch, but it was a good match. That brainbuster to the top rope, sick. I think Kevin Owens hits it probably the best I've ever seen, but that was awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, Kyle Fletcher, he's been on the rise for sure. Honestly, I tell you what, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we get Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher by Double or Nothing next year.
Quite possibly. And would it shock you if Fletcher?
You got to give Ospreay a pretty good run, and it wouldn't shock me.
Right.
Also, I wouldn't be surprised if they run back Ricochet versus Ospreay because of their long history, but we'll get more into that later.
Man, yeah.
But there are a lot of possibilities there. So that pretty much covers the most important stuff on AEW. But we are on the road to Redemption and All In. Okay, so now we can talk a little bit more about get back more into Ospreay. Yeah, so this clearly All In has Ospreay winning all over. It just, to me, it seems obvious that this event is built around Ospreay with the whole dynamic of the Rough Riders. I'm sorry, what did I say? Not Rough Riders.
The Death Riders.
Death Riders. Yeah, the Death Riders. You got that going on. You have an event that's going to be on his own home turf in England. He just won the Owen Hart tournament. The cog is clearly moving in his favor. I feel that All In is built for Ospreay to win the AEW Championship come end of August for sure. With that being said, if Ospreay wins, we could see some feuds down the road, including possibly Jon Moxley going against Ospreay later on. Not in the early part of his reign, but maybe in the later part of his reign, we could see them run back Ricochet versus Ospreay, because Ricochet and Ospreay kind of been tethered together for years, no matter which promotion they gone through.
Yep.
And then except for WWE, because Ospreay just didn't want to go to WWE. And then I would definitely expect Ospreay to give a title shot to Kyle Fletcher as well. Whether Kyle Fletcher would win that or not, I guess it just depends on AEW management, but it wouldn't shock me if they did that storytelling. But to get all that in, I would say Kyle Fletcher's probably Will Ospreay probably gonna go on a good 8-9 month run here with the title.
I'm curious.
They've built all this to get to August, and then to give him just a 2-3 month run. I think this guy's gonna have a 6 to 8 month run.
What if they Cody Rhodes him and they make it to where he doesn't finish his story at All In? He's got to do it again, win the Owen again next year, and that's the payoff match. I mean, because everybody thought Cody was winning at 39.
Yeah. I mean,
and it made 40 that much better.
Yeah, well, they had to give it to him at 40 because 40 is just 40. That was the fourth time we're getting like a 10th annual WrestleMania, a special mania. Every 10 years, always a special, and they like to do something big. So, I mean, it surprised me, but it didn't surprise me. I mean, I thought Cody was winning at 39, but once I saw he lost, I'm like, wait a minute, they got to run this back. Um, I mean, I don't know. Where do we go from here? I mean, Kenny Omega's already champion. Assuming they want to do Kenny versus Will Ospreay, Kenny retains. I mean, the title is in safe hands. You could tell a couple more stories, throw Omega a couple more challenges over the next several months, and then maybe run it back again. At the same time, it could have been risky doing this with Cody. I think it was, but um, would fans still stay hot for Will Ospreay if this happens?
That's the thing. So I think how it happens matters, right? The John Moxley of it all is so Will Ospreay gets his neck broken essentially by John Moxley and the Death Riders, has to get surgery, comes back with a vengeance for Mox, can't beat him, so he joins him. Okay. He's been training with them. They're cool. They're Death Riders. You got Omega telling him to be careful around this guy. At some point, John Moxley's going to want to get the AEW World Championship back. And does he just does he cost Ospreay at All In? And then they feud for a bit to kind of get Ospreay off of it. Then once he finally conquers that hurdle, he sets his sight. I don't know, maybe he and Swerve or something. I'm trying to figure out because here's why I'm thinking this. Not only because I'm a Kenny Omega nerd, but beyond that, this is Kenny's last run as champion, in my opinion, based on he's gonna. I don't just like AJ Styles could still go, but he wants to do it on his terms and still. I think that's gonna be more of Kenny. I don't see Kenny doing this until he's Ric Flair's age. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that in his back because he won't be able to perform the way he wants to. So if this is just a couple months, okay, maybe he has another run later on. But I mean, diverticulitis and everything else. I know he wants to do some stuff in New Japan. I don't know. That's my thought process. This might be Kenny's last run.
That's just so this could be a transitional run, and not to mention we have Redemption pay-per-view in between,
right?
Where obviously there's no title match set, but I would expect the title match to be set on Dynamite next week. MJF is gonna want that rematch.
He's gonna want the rematch for sure, and then also too, how do they make it a stipulation? Do they make it now where MJF can never challenge, or do they make it seem as though oh my, what if Omega makes MJF put up Hangman stipulation for the Redemption title shot? I mean, I think MJF gets an automatic one, whatever. I don't know how these things work. I'm just here for the show, but I'm just trying to figure out where because Redemption is kind of like the roadblock to Mania to All In, right? So that's kind of where they're going, I think, with this. I have no idea. Right now, they've got Omega and Ospreay for All In. But does Omega get
as of this second? I mean, that's a good headlining match. I mean, MJF versus Ospreay would be still a big match. So yeah, it kind of surprised me that they went down this road. I wasn't honestly familiar with the stipulation until Dynamite was underway. And then I was looking on YouTube. I was scrolling around for something, and I saw the spoiler by accident that Kenny Omega had won the belt. As I was trying to work my way through Dynamite, you got to be kidding me. So it kind of took the surprise element away from me, and I was a little annoyed about that. I should have stayed off my phone, but anyway,
it's hard.
So I love the fact that both WWE and AEW simultaneously now are booking in a creative way where they have the fans on their toes and guessing okay, who's gonna main event at SummerSlam? Who's gonna main event All In? Whether you like the decision making of the results or not, This is honestly a really good time to be a fan right now, in this part of 2026.
Because you can't miss a show. You don't know. Like,
Yeah,
if there's a title
uh,
match now,
both brands have been firing on all cylinders. I mean, AEW has been firing on pretty good cylinders for quite a while now. But WWE is finally firing on a couple good cylinders here. Maybe they are kind of getting out of Triple H's way a little bit because like the booking, I'm usually spot on with the predictions, but I have not been so spot on lately. And I'm not mad at that. I love the surprise factor.
yeah, it makes you want to watch.
In AEW, it's like, oh shoot, like I'm seeing this going on. Like we don't even know for sure who's officially going to be in that AEW World Title match other than Osprey.
Right.
Um, and AEW has a better habit of making matches more meaningful, more tournaments, more gauntlets, and stuff like that. So, they got that going for them. The women, you got a Willow Nightingale set for Tekla. So you have that match underway. Redemption is going to be in Montreal, about 6.5 hours north of me.
Okay.
But won't take the trip though because I would need vacation time for that. And I usually like to save my vacation time for more towards the end of the year.
Right.
So I will not be going, unfortunately, because I feel like I need about a good 3-4 day window to get up there back and forth. Anyhow, I digress. That's in Montreal, and All In we have, where is that?
All In's London.
Yeah, London. So that's that. And if I were smart, if I were AEW, since WrestleMania is going to be in Saudi Arabia, I would probably maybe consider booking All In for April of next year, or a major, or maybe backing up, do Double or Nothing, or do some kind of big show
Mhm.
while WWE is in
Well,
Saudi Arabia.
they do
In the
Double or
States.
Nothing in May. They could move it up and do it in Vegas again or something like that, and people would show. It's a good venue.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they would. I'm thinking more along the lines of a stadium show, an AEW stadium show.
See, and that's the thing. I'd
Don't
be
know
down.
if you can pull that off. I mean, they did it in Texas, but I'm talking about like pulling it off in the month of April.
Right, right. Man, that Texas All In last year was so dope. I'm sad that I'm not going to be able to go to London to see this one, but yeah, a stadium show would be dope. I'm curious though, like where, when, how do you? I mean, the Saudi Arabia stuff, man, it's tough. You know what I mean? Because like, even if I could, I don't know if I'd want to. I'm already brown.
You know what it is. My only problem with Saudi Arabia is being on the plane for 12 hours, 12 plus hours. For you, if you're heading east, you're looking at about a 20 hour
Right.
flight. And going west, I don't know what would be quicker. But anyway, for me, it would be about an 18 hour, like a 15-hour flight. And I just don't know if I could be on a plane for 15 hours
Right.
in one
It,
shot.
I mean,
I
it's
looked at the
tough.
plane prices. I looked at Airbnb prices. I mean, it is dirt cheap.
Is it really?
Cheaper than Vegas from New York. Yep. I couldn't believe it. Could
Well, I
not believe
mean, granted, I don't know many people are like, man, I'm going to Saudi this week.
it.
Taking a boys trip to Saudi.
I know it's gonna be. I hear Riyadh. Riyadh's a very very nice city though, and pretty for the most part pretty safe. Crime rate's low and all that stuff, which is all good things to hear.
Right.
But I just don't know how I feel about being on the plane that long. I'd have to take a red eye. I would love to go to places like Japan and stuff
Right.
like that. But I've never been on a plane any longer than 6 hours. So we'll have to see. But it would be smart if AEW did a stadium show, capitalizing on the fact that WWE is not doing one in April. But one last thing before we go.
Yeah.
I know some of the results already for Forbidden Door. Do you think Forbidden Door is a necessary pay-per-view that we need to have every single year? Because I really think the true Forbidden Door is when a WWE star would come over to AEW or AEW star coming over to WWE while they're both under contract with their other companies. And I think that's like, to me, that's the true idea of a forbidden door,
Right.
where an active competitor for one organization goes to another organization on a handshake deal contract for a one night or a couple shows.
Hmm.
Like, that to me is forbidden
Right.
door.
I
The type
mean,
of forbidden door we have not seen yet.
well,
And we
think
used to
about
see
it.
it with ECW and WWE.
They right, and WWE ran their own competition and out of business for so long that Survivor Series was them versus them. You know what I mean? And then you had the invasion angle, which was really dope back in the day because you had, different stuff, but you kind of owned it all anyway. So at some point, I was like, all right, well, this is gonna go so far. But if they ran a co-promoted show, a true Forbidden Door, a stadium, you mean to tell me that wouldn't be box office, right? But in addition to that, like for the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, I was super on board for it in its inception because at that point you had Osprey, Okada. These guys were in New Japan. Jay White was
Yeah.
in New Japan, right? And so like you didn't really necessarily see that. Yeah, they used to fight in New Japan when they were there, but to be able to see these dream matches and all these things was kind of dope. But then you sign all these guys, and now like I don't really know a whole lot of the New Japan people that are left outside of like maybe one or two, and then it's no longer got the same jazz to it, in my opinion, that it once had. And so, to your point, yeah, the true Forbidden Door now is really going to be, that. I mean, I thought it was kind of cool just to be able to see, like, when WWE would let, like, Christian go to TNA or whatever, like that was kind of dope. Certain like one offs like that, but that would be a big deal.
Absolutely.
I mean, you get
Cool.
Rollins Omega. Come on now.
Oh my gosh. Closing thoughts. There was some news this week. Sheamus is going to be exiting WWE because he could not restructure his deal. Also, keep in mind, rumor has it that Bailey, her contract comes to an end soon. And soon meaning sometime before the end of this year. I don't know the exact date, but I'm looking at the storyline and kind of watching where things going, considering on Monday Night Raw a couple weeks ago, Lyra Valkyria turning on Bailey, and now Lyra Valkyria is developing this new type of persona, clearly a heel. And Bailey wants a face-to-face with her next week. I think that's going to lead to a match between Lyra Valkyria and Bailey, where Lyra not only beats Bailey, but takes her out. And I have a feeling I can foresee this in advance, putting over Lyra Valkyria on the way out whenever they decide to end this feud. And then Bailey, I would think that Bailey's best landing spot would be in AEW and start doing stuff with Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the easiest landing spot for her. I think she's talented. I just think that she's done all that she can do in WWE, in my opinion.
Yes.
And so, I think she's a pro. I think she's solid. She will put Lyra over, obviously, do the right thing and all that. But I think it would be fresh for her to be able to mix it up in AEW with, and then this is kind of like a back forbidden door, like a backdoor forbidden door, kind of
Yeah.
like when they kind of sign and then you get to see like now you get to see, whatever she, alias or name she goes by. She goes by her real name, who knows? And then she gets to run through
Bam, 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 bam.
Pam.
From the office.
It would be insane, I think. But then also too, where did the New Day pop up? Just like Sheamus, they're also up there. So I mean, You've got all
Motor
in on the
City Machine
horizon.
Guns.
Yep, that's right.
There's talent from Wyatt Six. All those guys should be freed up sometime this month to go somewhere.
Right. And they got landing spots, right? They do. They can go places now. I love that
my gosh,
these wrestlers have
Tony
options.
Khan could probably book a good six-way ladder match. Motor Machine Guns, then New Day, FTR, and then a couple of their other Young Bucks.
The
a couple
Bucks,
other.
yeah.
So I mean, this all-in pay-per-view has the potential to be something really good, especially if they sign these tag teams that WWE released. WWE essentially released three big tag teams, and not to mention releasing of Ciampa basically cut off the Gargano Ciampa tag team. So basically, they part away with 4 tag teams.
Right.
So
yeah, it'll be fun to watch, see where it goes, man. I'm excited to be able to do this again with you, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. You have any other closing thoughts before we go off?
No, I'm just obviously excited that Kenny Omega is my world champion, and because I am a CM Punk fan, I am happy that CM Punk is the WWE champion too. Only person to win the both modern and former belts. That's dope.
Yes, in the same calendar year. Yeah.
That's right. Right.
Yep. Those of you guys that are watching that episode, this wraps up episode 163. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys comment, like, share. Stay tuned for more in between videos that we'll be doing throughout the week. We have our Raw post show coming up next week, and we will catch you guys later.
Agility from the champion. Uh-oh!